With the 54th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Michael Hall, Ohio State defensive tackle. Go Browns.
Last year, they went into the draft and got Jowon Jones, who was a polarizing player, had all the ability in the world, just needed to grow up a little bit, become more mature. That's the question, in the exact same situation you have at the same school here with Michael Hall Jr. The ability's always been there. He is extremely explosive. You see these flashes of him knocking guys off the ball, and you're like, how does this guy not have 10 sacks? How is he not just a dominant player consistently? But it has been just those flashes, CD. He hasn't been a consistent player, and that's why he was so polarizing in this year's draft class.
And because they had success with Jowon Jones, they have the ability with their coaching staff to bring that out of Michael Hall Jr. because Jowon Jones played well before he got hurt. So now you bring in Michael Hall Jr. Remember, up front, DJ, Shelby Harris is there, Dalvin Tomlinson, Quentin Jefferson, Maurice Hurst. They love the rotation. Jim Schwartz is a defensive coordinator. The defensive front is the engine that drives his defense. And by the way, let's clear it up. It's Lucas Van Ness, the defensive end from Green Bay, who was the hockey player, Joel.
I had them taking defensive tackle in my mock. I had it as Rook and Orororo.
There it is.
And there it is. And so they stick with the position I thought they might take. It's Michael Hall. Michael Hall Jr. is an electric pass rusher. The problem is he didn't always show it on tape, but when he got to the Senior Bowl, just completely wrecked shop. He is undersized as a defensive tackle. He doesn't have the size you're typically used to in terms of being able to stack and shed, hold the point. But you see, he's got some ability to really get up under offensive linemen and give him that long arm, drive back into the pocket. But where he really shines is the arm over, the foot quickness. He can get around guards and centers as a pass rusher. I think he is going to come into Cleveland early on and be a sub-package rusher inside, be somebody who starts to light up the interior of the offensive line, be a rotational player inside. But he's got real talent. Michael Hall Jr. has real talent. I think he needs to see if he can carry close to 300 pounds. But if you want to get up the field and get some disruptive snaps going, Michael Hall Jr. is your guy.
He was north of 290 pounds at his pro day. He weighed in at 290 at the combine, and at his pro day went 4.75 in the 40-yard dash at close to 300. Bench 24, get off a 10-yard at 1.65. Pretty good athletic stuff there, Buck, for a player like Michael Hall.
Yeah, pretty good athletic stuff. And let's just think about what Jim Schwartz likes to do defensively. Like, he wants to get after you. He wants to make it very simple. They were a team that loves to come after you with a five-man rush. They want to play man-to-man on the outside. They want to create one-on-one matchups at the point of attack. You talked about his arm over maneuver, his ability to win with his hands. He's an impact player. He can be an impact player being a complement to Myles Garrett and company at the point of attack.
With the 85th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Zach Zinter, guard, Michigan.
I mean, now.
Go Browns.
I feel like, am I getting punked? Am I being punked? This guy, I'm going to give you the floor on this guy, Joel, please. Talk about this guy.
Well, Zinter was a born leader, and first of all, he was their best offensive lineman for a number of years, played a ton of football for them, and was their emotional leader as well up front. Very smart player. I'll just take you to the last game that I was fortunate enough to do for Michigan. It was against Ohio State, and Zach Zinter and his team are tied. They're driving. It's a tie ball game. There is so much stress. There's so much emotion. There's so much pressure, and he goes down with a pretty gruesome injury. And I can tell you this, that stadium, although it was dead quiet, you could hear this and sense this building chant. One of the first times I've ever taken my headset off in the booth, sitting there with Gus, and I'm hearing this chant, and the entire 110,000 starts chanting, "Let's go, Zach. Let's go, Zach," because of what he had meant to that program. It was a highly emotional moment. Even the Buckeyes were clapping for him. A couple plays later, Blake Corum goes into the end zone, flashes a 6'5". They take the lead, never relinquish it. And there's Zach on the stage lifting up the national championship trophy. Their emotional leader and a guy that's going to come in, and if he's healthy, DJ, he will contribute in a major way.
Ironically, you're going to see him lined up next to Jowon Jones. So you're going to have Michigan and Ohio State next to each other, two guys who can really move people in the run game. Physical guys.
With the 156th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns selects Jamari Thrash, wide receiver, Louisville.
Jamari Thrash is a vertical wide receiving threat. He has the ability to get open and to shake himself free. Classic fifth-round pick here, in my estimation. Ran a good 4.46 40. The testing is fine in every area. I think what he makes up with speed is what he gives away with play strength. And I think, that's why he needs to be in space. You need to create opportunities for him to get away from coverage. You throw with quick throws, or you give him a chance to hit some double moves. You don't want him in a lot of contested catch situations, because that is not where he thrives, and he gets pushed around a little bit for being a 186-pound wide receiver. But he does have speed to play on the third level, to take it down the field. There's that little double move I just talked about. So when he's open now, if you give him a chance to play down the field and create openings and separation, he can do that. I think the one area of concern is he's going to struggle at times when bigger corners and physical corners decide to really match him around the field, and he's going to have to get a little bit tougher inside the route.
I had him ranked at 115 prior to the draft starting, in large part because of his yak ability. Yeah. And yak is so valuable now, especially on the right team. I mean, obviously, the San Francisco 49ers taught us a whole bunch of things about that, and a lot of teams play in that same sort of vein. So for me, he has a lot. This is a really valuable pick. Great upside here. The Browns haven't had good picking positions, but they've made the most of all of their picks so far, and I think these are a really nice fit picks all across the board.
With the 206th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Nathaniel Watson, linebacker, Mississippi State.
I don't know.
You guys may call him Nathaniel Watson, but I'm going to call him Bookie Watson, because that's what, if you know him, you can call him Bookie Watson. I don't know him, but I feel like I do after watching his tape. I mean, he was only in college for 6 full years. I thought Bookie Watson would be a 5th-round pick, so I think this is a good value selection here. 31 tackles for loss, 21 sacks since the start of the 21 season. He's making plays. He gets downhill and attacks. And typically Mississippi State asks that of their linebackers. They let him get down there in the muck and go make some plays. He's patient not to overcommit while reading. He doesn't get caught up behind a lot of trash. Only 35 solo tackles out of 137 total in 2023. That's all posse, no sheriff. I want to see him get there and do his own business.
More production, more finishing skills, because that is a part of the evaluation. Can you finish the down?
I always like more solos, a higher number of solo tackles than assisted.
With the 227th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Myles Harden, defensive back, South Dakota. Go Browns!
Well, I do want to mention one of my favorite guys is you see him, let's see, where is he? Cleveland Browns took him. There he is, Myles Harden. Played at South Dakota. I think they got a big steal here. He is a tackling machine. Rarely do you get away from his clutches. I understand that he didn't play at the biggest school, but I think he comes from Miami area, so he's a Miami kid with a lot of aggression in his football. You know that he's going to go get you. But the other thing and you'll see him right here, he'll go up and tackle you like he prays that you come his way. You know how there's some shortstops, Bucky, and third baseman? Man, I hope they don't hit the ball to me. I hope he didn't hit it to me. He hopes you run his way. Please run my way. Please run my way, because I want to step up there and jump in and make the tackle. To me, I'm moving him to safety. I understand he can play corner, but I see so much value for Myles Harden as a safety, and I think he is somebody who can transition to that position, become a consistent tackler and a good football player who will make a team and eventually be a much bigger piece than you ever expected as a 7th rounder.
With the 243rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Jowon Briggs, defensive tackle, Cincinnati.